We begin right now, bottom of the hour, with our top talker, and we've been discussing this all week long here on 3 News. We've been taking a closer look at the cell phone bans in schools across Northeast Ohio and how it could soon become law statewide. Today is part 3 of that series.
Yeah, and this is about parents because they have so many questions and concerns, particularly when it comes to safety. So Maureen Kyle took those questions to the experts.
Yeah,
Maureen?
good evening. Obviously, most kids have cell phones with them for communication purposes. So the prospect of not having them in school when there is an emergency has some parents on edge. But research shows cell phones could actually cause bigger issues.
I do want my daughter to have a cell phone because I want her to be in a safe place and I want to know where she's at all times.
It's unfortunately the reality of the world we live in.
It's a lot of shooting going on around the country, and I would want to know that my daughter is safe.
Every parent has imagined the what ifs, and knowing that they can get in touch with their child at a moment's notice is comforting, but is it in the best interest of safety?
So while a cell phone meets the emotional security needs of a parent, it can make their child actually less safe in the moment of an incident because they're paying attention to the phone, they're responding to messages, sending messages, possibly even live streaming it. They're not listening to the adults who should be trained to give them directions.
National school safety expert Ken Trump says in the case of an intruder, students need to be absolutely silent.
We have to remember, if somebody's in a school with ill intentions, they have a limited amount of time. If you're on cell phones, making noises, making calls, getting pings, hitting record, you're attracting some noise to a room where someone with ill intentions may not even know that you're in there.
At Akron Public Schools, Safety Director Don Zessinger agrees with having fewer phones in hands during an emergency.
Our high schools have anywhere from 900 to 1,200 kids. We have 6 high schools. So if you have that many kids in one area on their cell phones, that can compromise a tower. For sure, it's going to compromise the ability of safety forces to get there in a timely manner, because now you've got a steady stream of parents racing to the school to get their student, which doesn't help anything.
One of the major reasons Akron Public Schools decided to completely lock away phones during the school day, fights at school that kids were recording and posting on social media. This year, they've seen a significant drop in physical conflicts overall. But Akron's policy of no cell phones, even between class time, is more restrictive than what other districts are putting into place. Ken Trump says anytime there are cell phones in the environment, there's an increased chance of cyberbullying, agitation, and other factors that lead to fights, something all districts need to consider when creating their policies.
Behavior without consequences is permission. And if you don't enforce your rules consistently and for the long haul, then it's just another rule that's out there that's not going to be followed.
Now, Ken Trump admits kids are really good at outsmarting the rules. In schools where they have the lock pouches like Akron, he's seen kids bring dummy phones to school to lock away so that they can keep their real phones on them all day. So he stresses, if a policy is made, schools need to pull out all the stops to enforce it. That is the only way to keep everyone safe. Now, the other big question that we've seen from parents: my kid gets anxious during the school day. What if they need to get in touch with me? Nationally renowned teen psychologist Dr. Lisa D'Amour says even kids with anxiety need to practice being independent from their parents during the school day.
But the goal over time should be that a young person can manage the range of emotions that do come up during a school day. I think that the key here is just to not confuse uncomfortable and unmanageable. Uncomfortable is part of life, right? It's part of being a human.
Now, of course, if a doctor says that the kid needs a cell phone, that's different. If you missed any part of this series, you can watch all of it on WKYC.com. We've put it all together so you can watch all 3 in a row. But especially since legislation is moving forward and Governor DeWine is getting this legislation on his desk, schools are going to be looking at these policies. Parents are going to be hearing about these policies. So this is everything that they're looking at.
I think that part of the question for parents too is, how much do I trust my school?
Yes.
You know, how much do I trust that front office, that if there's security there, how much do I, and maybe that would, dependent on what they say about that, if they do have some trust in it, it would give them a little bit of comfort that the phones won't be accessible.
Yeah. I encourage everybody to do exactly what you said. Watch all 3 pieces. Information is power.
Yeah.
I think that the more parents learn about the issues, I learned something during your piece. I never really thought about the phone actually, perhaps in some instances, making a child a target.
Yes.
If it does make noise and they previously were undetected or whatever. So there's a lot of things that I've learned from your series. Go watch it all on WKYC.com.
So
Maureen,
smart.
great job. Terrific job.
I'm happy to do it. It was selfish on my own part. I needed to learn about this for my own kids' school.
Well, you taught us to.
Yes,
so thank
good,
you.
good.
Thank you.